Lately, I've been seeing a lot of ads for online guitar courses, especially one that kept popping up everywhere. Justin Hombach's Gateway to Shred. And the promise is bold. Become a shredder in 30 days with just 15 minutes of practicing per day.
And with only 15 minutes every day, you can learn so much that will help you to boost your shred skills.
So I started wondering, can a course like this actually improve your playing or your tone? Or is it just a really good marketing? So I bought the course. For the next 30 days, I documented as much as I can. Practice sessions, struggles, every bit of progress, and I made a lot of notes to give you a feedback on this course. So I'm approaching this primarily as a student, as a customer, and try not to take the perspective of a teacher too much, but please bear with me if I change the point of view here and there. I try to not overanalyze anything. Also, I will not be leaking any content of that course that's exclusive. But if Justin already shared exercises publicly on YouTube, I might use those as examples, but I show nothing behind a paywall. I respect the work that went into the course and just want to give my feedback and not rage bait. That wouldn't be fair, because I mean, if I had that haircut and that perfectly groomed mustache and would play like this, I would probably sell a course too. To give you a helping hand, I want to structure this video in 3 parts. First, what the course is all about and who is it targeted for. Second, my personal experience that I made through the course and my takeaway. And third, does it hold up what it promises? 30 days with 15 minutes of practicing to see a significant increase of speed endurance in your play. So, what are we dealing with? Simple as it sounds, the course wants to make you faster on the fretboard by giving you techniques to improve your left hand skills and endurance, as well as techniques to train your left and right hand synchronization, and Justin's master topic, the pick slanting for the right hand. Therefore, it uses a structure that first teaches you how to train efficiently, so psychological training to learn how to learn. In the second stage, the course teaches you licks that bring you to a certain level of what you can play or will be able to play, and in the end it leads towards a solo that combines the learned licks and techniques. Therefore, you get a video per day with at least 4 to 5 minutes of input in which Justin explains the following exercises, guides you and gives you hints where to put an eagle eye on and where the most mistakes in speed picking lie. Just to let you know, that all happens not fully free of cross promotion to the bigger course, the Zen of Speed Picking, but the Gateway to Shred works mostly standalone. I've got both courses, and you eventually might want the bigger course as well after the Gateway to Shred. So far, structure-wise. So if we put in the calculator, 15 minutes of practicing, I need 2 minutes to log in and prepare, 4 to 5 minutes to watch the video, and then I have approximately 7 to 8 minutes for training. Considering the fact you understood everything right from the get-go and don't need to rewatch parts of the video. If you don't include the time for watching and else, we're realistically talking about 20 to 25 minutes daily, which is the bare minimum to get better. So the promise. Every video comes with practical PDF and GP, so guitar profiles, and the solo backing track in the end comes with different speed velocities, and that's pretty handy. Some minor flaws is missing possibilities to document the process like you have it in the Zen of Speed Picking, and the backing tracks come without click tracks or pickup bars, which could be a little bit better, but as I said, minor flaws that can clearly be improved. But other than that, it's pretty well structured. Now, did I get better? Well, yes, but to be honest, maybe it was at first the intention to become a shredding machine, but after a few days of practicing with Justin, more importantly, I started practicing more intentionally. I put more focus on what's actually happening in the right hand and the left hand while picking fast. And I really put effort into internalizing the pick slant method. Trained every lick as I should. And then my former guitar teacher, Andreas Fockroth, visited my house for a night. We still stay in contact and he's become a really good friend of mine. And he saw my browser and my Guitar Pro and opened and said, you're practicing Gilbert licks. That's cool. I was like, no, it's Justin's course. It's about pick slanting and the intention to understand movement better in order to get more control over your playing in the right hand. And he's like, yeah, of course I get that, but do you really think Gilbert or anyone else intended something like that when he started out on guitar? He was just living with his guitar, and through a bunch of practice he became that fast, not because of a dedicated right hand technique. So Andreas said. And I was like, maybe he's got a point. So I watched one of Gilbert's old online courses and I was like, well, the core of what's happening is pretty similar, but less scientific as Justin does it. Gilbert used phrases like just focus on the upbeat to nail the lick in time, or tap the beat out, and practice standing up and stuff like that. And while Justin was more mind the angle of your right hand, change the pick slant in this situation to become faster and stuff like that. And I'm like, what if I take the attitude of Gilbert's advice and combine that with the scientific method from Justin? And bam, as soon as I did that, it felt super natural. You stay in speed, you take simple repeating licks, you play with the angle of your right hand during the fast licks, and all of a sudden, it just felt more natural to get into the speed picking and into the pick slanting. Maybe the learning method, as it is described in the course, is just not fully my approach of learning, and I had to find my own way. But as soon as I combined those two worlds, everything just made sense for me. Maybe if I were to adjust the structure slightly, I would probably build in more repetition cycles. Something like day 1, learning a learning method. Day 2, apply that through a lick and reinforce that and speed it up. And in the day 3, I repeat that and introduce another learning method. And then I apply that to the next lick, and then I repeat that, and that should have like repeating cycles throughout the whole course. Because for me, repetition is the key to actually owning a skill. But that's just me and my perspective that can be completely different to somebody else. So from a student's point of view, you could make that work, but I often had to go back and remind myself of the learning method, write them down and reconnect to what I learned earlier, and then move forward again. And I loved it, because this is where the course really shines. The learning techniques themselves. Those are not just course content, they're universal. If you actually internalize that part, that alone can completely change how you approach learning on the guitar, but also in many more situations. And that's also my biggest takeaway from the course. Learning methods that I internalized for myself and then go on the hunt for licks and for riffs and for techniques and etc. So after 30 days, the question now is, of course, does the course deliver what it promises? Well, yes, but not in the way I expected it. So if you're a beginner, this will most likely overwhelm you, okay? There's just too much happening, too many things you're expected to already control. I would say you need at least around 1 year of experience, of playing experience. You should already have a proper alternate picking technique, basic legato playing, and a certain level of hand synchronization at speeds like 16ths at 80 BPM, I would say. But if you do bring that foundation, then yes, the course can absolutely help you to increase your tempo and get security in fast melodic lines, and you will improve. However, there's one crucial requirement. You need to be able to spot your own mistakes within your playing. If you're not at that point yet, I would highly recommend a one-to-one lesson instead. Having someone to guide you, to correct you in real time, that's incredibly valuable especially early on. And this brings me again to the most important takeaway from the course. The real value of this course is not just licks, the lightning fast picking ability that you want to grow from it. It's the way it teaches you how you approach learning. So can you buy that as a beginner? I would say yes, in the context of there's so much cool learning techniques that you can bring from. But if you want to focus on your shredding, you need at least a year of experience to jump into the course. And at the end of the day, you're playing, and how you learn will affect your tone much more than all the gear that you can buy. So does it hold its promises? Let me point it out this way. It can definitely push you into a direction. So overall, it's a solid course for, I would say, experienced players, but it's not a shortcut. It's not a magic trick. It requires work for at least 15 minutes a day. And once you're into it, I promise you 15 minutes will not be enough. Not because it's not enough time, but because you want to take more time to jump as deep as you can into that rabbit hole. For me, it was at the end 2 to 3 hours a day to see a fundamental difference. But I'm a slow learner, and I know that, and I'm a little bit of a junkie when it comes to practicing, so I shouldn't be taken as a measurement. And I need to reflect and talk to other people to get multiple inputs, not just the course, to really improve what I expected from myself, which is the next big topic, expectations and reality. Would you please write down in the comments if you like a video on a psychological analysis, how expectations affect your way of learning and what that has to do with your development on guitar. I would be really interested if that's a topic for you. Bottom line, the course can be a good vehicle to engage a learning process, but in the end, it's you who commits to the process or doesn't. And now I'm curious, do you want me to test more courses like this, or even compare them? Let me know and I'll catch you in the next one here.